Hello and welcome to another edition of When Calls the Heart Aftershow through JLJ Media. It's me, James Lott Jr. and Marisa Serafini.
Hello, Hearties. Hello, everybody.
And we're coming to our from our homes, of course, as we've done for the last couple of weeks. This is episode 7, I can do this every time. Episode 9, season 7, New Possibilities. And I want to thank everyone, first of all, before we begin. So Marisa, between our first 2 videos we did for this season, we have almost 2,000 views.
Oh, that's great. For Zoom quality, that's pretty good.
Yes, for Zoom quality, folks. We understand this is not our normal perfection, but you guys have been very vocal. They have been writing and telling what they think. They're so glad we're back. They're so glad. Unfortunately, next week's the last episode, but we found a way to do this for you, and we've been enjoying doing this. So, that's why we're glad to be back.
Yeah, it's fun to do this every week. It's fun to see your face, even though when I can't see your face, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to see.
Face,
yeah, right. So, folks, yes, you look at me right now. I just unveiled. I shaved my face. So there's more of me to look at right now. And I'm still trying to get used to it. I got bored. So now I got hair on top, and then my face. Usually I have hair on my face, and then on top.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it, too.
Yeah, it's Freaky Friday. I don't know what's going on. I'm switching with myself, my old self. I don't know what's going on there. But I want to thank everybody for watching them and then also commenting, and you've been sharing them. And I want to give a special shout out to Ann Riddle, who's been really behind us, and Trisha Kalstein, and Lori Meeker, and Janice Stevens. Everybody's been so wonderful in kind of re-announcing that we've been doing this show. And we want to give a special shout out to all the Hardee's administrators on the When Calls the Heart Hardee's page on Facebook for allowing us to share this with them on there. We totally appreciate it.
Yeah, the Hardy community is great. The admins are fantastic as always in allowing our videos to still be there and be posted and still be within the community and keep us updated as well as you guys. So I appreciate everybody.
Yes, and your video you did very well, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. That was mostly out of James' motivation and my boredom. And thanks to this, coronavirus quarantine, it got done.
Because we like your videos. We want to see them. And of course, they showed you the love. So they want to see your videos. Yes, they're fun.
Because of the Hardy, it's almost at, I think, 1,000 views now.
See?
So,
See?
pretty good. Pretty solid.
Yeah, because, one thing is, folks, we left for a while, we came back. So we're glad to know that you guys have not forsaken us. We are Hardee's forever, right, Marisa?
That's right, forever and ever.
And ever, amen. And I also, which is actually a song by Trevor. So I have a cup. This is from a glass from my Ohio Hardee's when we had an event. It's from season 4. True love stories never have endings. And I'm not drinking Kahlua or anything. I'm actually drinking just decaf coffee with some light.
There you go. And while you drink that, I'm drinking my protein lean shake.
Yes.
Really healthy and healthy for me.
We're trying to be healthier during this time period. That's what we're trying to do.
And this is not a product placement, but at least we're not getting yelled at for what we drink on camera.
Yeah, that's right. We can drink whatever we want. I can drink any kind of glass I want. I love it. I love that there's a little bottom on there.
This is sexy, I swear.
And because in honor of Marisa every week, I have my mini whiteboard. And so I'll be posting this on social media so you'll be able to see this. It's not any way in shape, form like Lady Boss Queen over there, but it's my little attempt.
Yeah, but attempt is better than nothing.
Yes, it's in honor of you because she doesn't have a whiteboard where she's at, so that's why I kind of decided.
I have a whiteboard in my mind.
well, speaking of that, so girl, what'd you think overall?
Solid episode. I think it wrapped up last week's episode with Lee, thank God. And then it opened up questions for the finale too. So it felt like a good transitional episode from this is what to expect for the season finale. It introduced some new characters and new storylines for us to keep us interested.
I agree. It's a great transitional episode. I completely agree. I was surprised that they introduced a couple of really kind of big storylines. And then, which we'll break into, I was like, oh, we're doing that. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't expect that coming. And really, it is setting up for some finale stuff. They are setting up for some stuff in the finale.
Right. And you have to remember, When Calls the Heart shoot a block episode. So 2 episodes at a time, really for storyline's sake. So this makes sense if you pair this one with the finale.
I agree with that.
One.
So, let's get started. So it opens with Jesse and Clara. Of course, Jesse's at work. He still feels responsible. We're still reeling over what happened. We don't know what happened to Lee yet in the very beginning. It seems kind of somber. It was like a very interesting way they were filming everything, and people were waiting. All the townsfolk were waiting to hear what happened. You know, when I was watching this scene, Marisa, I love Eva Bourne and Aaron Buchholz's just chemistry. They just have such an ease, and we've interviewed them together, you know, and they just have such a, you can tell they have a friendship and a workship. I guess that's a word. Acting workship they have. That it just seems so easy in this scene. I loved it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I like how I feel like the chemistry has gotten even better over the seasons. I mean, we liked them and they were cute at the beginning, them together, but like they're even better now. And I think that just goes to show like how much their characters have grown, how much their storylines have like really intertwined with each other. You know, if Jesse's feeling something, you know, Claire is feeling the exact same way. And I think that's what happens in a partnership. Like when one half is feeling something, the other half also feels it too, because it feels like a complete whole in that sense. And I think that's why they're so good together, because we're not getting the emotions from one person, we're really getting it from two.
I agree. I actually agree with that. Jack. Bill is serving breakfast, and people, they don't know what's happening still with Lee. But then we follow Elizabeth, who goes over, and Lee's fine. I was like, thank you, Jesus, God, everything.
Oh, and I called it too. I thought it was going to be a quick result, and it sure was quick, because that Lee was fine and up and walking around and everything before the credits even happened. So I'm glad that was done. We didn't have the rest of the episode to worry about his health.
You're right. Your prediction happened. He did. It was done in the beginning, because they didn't show. Because in a way, it was like they didn't add that as part of the preview for this episode. So you would think if it was major, it probably would have been part of the preview. But it was like, oh, it's quick. It's fine.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. We also didn't see his injury, so I don't feel like we shouldn't see a lot of recovery to something we didn't see. And so I'm glad it was quickly resolved and out of the way.
And they actually had short-term memory loss, Lois. You know, like know what happened, which is common. That does happen. So we find out exactly what happened. Actually, but we didn't know what happened really. So he was sawing a tree that fell on him, and that's how he got knocked. He hit his head. He got knocked out. So I was like, oh, he's saw. But I was thinking, well, I guess because the wind was kind of crazy. I guess I'm thinking, don't you know where to saw so he doesn't fall? I mean, I guess he's the wind.
But you know that can happen. That actually happened to my brother once.
Really?
Shout out. Once. Yeah, he was working a lumber job with Our Town Lumber, like I said a couple of weeks ago, and they were just getting like so in the rhythm of things, and they were like tossing logs and branches from the top of the tree just down to the ground. And the guy who was, you know, the lumber, his name's Rick. He dropped a log and dropped on my brother's head, knocked him out cold for like an hour, but he was fine. It happens.
So painful.
It happens. So I completely understand how sawing a tree can knock out someone for a while. Yes, it happens.
Yes, that was scary. As Lee leaves the Carson's and the infirmary, it's just so funny. He's still funny as he's like everybody's like greeting him, and but he's like, I can get used to this. He's actually get all. I love it. It's like the little asides he was saying to Rosemary. There's just like his humor was there. It was just there. And then when he got home, Lee was just like, okay, give it to me. It's like he was expecting it. And she says something. I wrote this. I said, I feel like I actually have a quote. She said, because there's a speech in there somewhere. She goes, a speech like that went out the window. Oh, and again, Pascal Hutton. Again, their chemistry, Kevin and Pascal's chemistry, just amazing. But her reaction to this was kind of like, no, I also worried I was going to lose you, basically. There's nothing for me to yell at or say, and right. They just hugged.
I think all emotions, because, it kind of ties back to when Clara and Rosemary was like, how do we talk to our men? Should we start angry and then, be loving and give them a hug. Should be yell at them first and then be happy that they're okay. And now Rosemary didn't have that moment with Lee. And like you think she would be angry, but she's just happy that he's okay. And I love that dynamic too, because Lee still had his fun personality, be like, give it to me. And she's like, no, I don't need to. Yeah. There are bigger problems in the world than me yelling at you.
And then later, there was this moment that, again, and Kevin's acting this episode, amazing. Like I just felt, in general, just his episode, we got to see really some deep sides to him that we never really seen before, I feel. Right. I love when he's talking about how he's been very lucky in his life.
Right. It's always about his family.
It is.
Like, I feel like his most serious moments is when he's talking about his family, because it's something we've never actually seen his family. We only hear and know about what he's told us.
Well, they're all dead, basically. I mean, at this point.
Or left in that
sense. Yes, right, yes.
And I think it's good that he has, he obviously has to come from somewhere. And you see throughout these seasons that he wants something more than family and then this town that's basically his family. But his personal family, he still has to, get in touch with and figure those things out, resolve those issues.
But go see, you can't run. You could move somewhere else, but you can't run from your problems. At some point, they're going to pop up.
Yeah, you can't run from your past.
And I remember his brother Patrick, the stuff about that. I remember that for that. But when he put out this box, it was so cute. He showed those old pictures back in the day or whatever. And I saw there's a girl there. What?
I love it when she's like, "Where did you hide this?"
He's like, when we first moved in, I just kind of hid it, in the attic. I was like, "Oh, okay." And they showed a photo, and I saw there was another boy in the picture, and I was like, okay. But I saw the girl, just like, who's the girl? I'm like, and when she was like, is that a cousin or something? I was thinking to myself, oh, Bobby, it's a cousin or something. And he was like, no, it's my sister. And I felt like she did. I'm like, you know, sister. Well, we like a sister.
Sister, where's the sister? I had him all too. I'm like, what the heck is this woman? Obviously, we're gonna get those answers.
We are. Clearly, we're gonna get those answers. But it was just like, I'm like, oh, the sister. And her name was Susanna, folks. And of course, she's a year older than him. They haven't talked in years. We got a whole, a whole backstory. That was like, wow, okay.
Real quick.
It was really quick. Patrick died. Things were the same.
Father died.
Mom passed.
Yeah.
He turned 18. I had to write this down because I wanted the whole diagram. Turned 18, left. Then his father died a few years later. Then apparently, I guess she left at some point. They just never talked. And as a person who lost a brother in a family, my family's never been the same since. I mean, it's not as extreme as that, but it has not been the same. It's weird when you lose a sibling. It's just really strange in a family. Because you expect your parents and grandparents, things like that, but losing a sibling who's like, my brother's only a year older than me, Max, is still weird. And it's been almost 4 years, I think. And it's still our family has never completely been the same since then. And I have other friends with the same thing. So I can understand that.
Family dynamics change, and it's how people communicate with each other also changed too, because we don't know if they were actually close already originally when they were young. I mean, they could be close in age, but that doesn't mean that they're close in, behavior and personality wise. So I think there's still a lot more of that family history that we have to find out. It seems like she might be harboring a lot of resentment towards Lee on her end. So again, we need both sides of this argument.
Well, so the thing is, Rosemary goes into action saying, I'm gonna help. Let me help you. She's very supportive. I liked how she didn't push too hard, because that's Rosemary's way to kind of keep pushing. But she was like, when you're ready, blah, blah. And I want to mention this. So he's from Loveland, Ohio. So I have a niece, and nieces and nephews are in Loveland. Hi, niece Dana and the kids. They're in Loveland. I've been in Loveland before, because I have family, of course, in Ohio. My Ohio Hardies, you all know that already. And so it's interesting we got more. He's from the Midwest. We got a little more story about where he actually really is from. I love how they're using the phone more now. It's kind of weird, because I'm used to the other seasons there was no phone. Now it's like, let me call the phone, and let me call Fiona to call her. I was like, oh yeah, I got called. You can use the phone now. And he reached the general store there, and that's when he told me she's in and maybe in Washington. But I love the whole thing about they were kind of like CSI When Calls to Heart. It was like, okay. And Rose was like, well, who did she date? Who was her suitors? And he thought of the first name, and then he's, somewhere else. He thinks the second name, the last name. And they kind of deduce it all. And then Fiona jumps in and helps. And she's in Bellingham, Washington, which I know Bellingham, Washington, actually. I know it. So I know it. It's up there near Seattle. It's way north. And I do know Bellingham. I have my friend Troy. Hi, Troy lives in Bellingham. So I know Bellingham. It's a great town. It's a really great town.
Oh, that's great. And like bringing it back to the point of the phone, I think it is great that they're constantly using, or like they're utilizing the phone for like good purposes, like tracking down people now, because that was a resource they didn't have like 2 or 3 seasons ago now. So I think it's good, and it just shows the evolution of just technology and how it actually does help people for different situations, especially like this one when you're tracking down people. They're like, it's the way how we're still connected even when we're not. And I think it's playing on that theme, because little did they know in 100 years that everyone's going to be on a phone and no one's going to actually talk to people.
So I got 2 of them. I got 2 phones sitting here. Crazy talk. Only one works. I got 2 of them.
But I think they're good. It's good that they're using the phone for good purposes like this, especially when the resources are still limited back then. And that probably the quickest way that they could track someone, instead of like sending telegrams and getting responses every hour or every couple of days. Phone is the best, fastest communicative way for something, and I like it.
It's for me, it was strange. Like thinking about, back then when he was like, because when Lee was like, well, how are we gonna find her? Like, what are we gonna do? I'm like, back then you couldn't just like, go on Google and find something. Like I say, it's just kind of like, it was really interesting for me just being in today's world, going how we take for granted how much we get to just like.
And how easy it is for us to stalk people.
Yeah, exactly, and find somebody. I mean, even back in the olden days, the 70s and 80s when I was a kid, we still had phone books. We still had things that you could do, resources. Even then, you could still kind of go to the library. There's like things you can kind of do. But back then, there was no. I mean, you couldn't, to the phone. So he tracks it down. Oh yeah. And then so basically, he calls her, and she hangs up the phone. And that's like, oh. So she ain't having it right now, apparently. And I was like, oh, okay, so there's some tension there, clearly. After, 20 years, I guess, has happened at this point?
Yeah, we can guesstimate 20-ish years.
20-ish years, something like that. And I thought it was interesting because he was conflicted about it. There's a scene where he had the ball, and he was kicking the ball against the house. And Rosemary comes down, she hears the ball and everything, hears the noise. And how he just thinks it's too late. And just like, and then later when he's watching baby Jack and playing with him, and she goes over to Elizabeth's, he actually decides later to call. He calls her again and actually says, I would like to come see you. And she's like, Leland, I got to think about this. And it felt really realistic. I just felt this really like, it wasn't like this, like, okay, come see me or whatever, blah, blah. It was just like, there's some tension there. There's some real tension, and I felt it in their performances. I don't know who this actress is. It was really good. She was really good.
Yeah, Susanna, for like the one line that she once said, you can already tell that there's unresolved issues going on. And the fact that she called him Leland, not Lee, so it's like it sounds more authoritative / I don't want to say like condescending, but just like in a way that she's not happy with them. Because I feel like when you chastise someone, you don't say, James, you be that. Well, you go by James. But
mine is James Harrison Lott Jr. When I get in trouble with somebody, like a parent, or it's like James Harrison Lott Jr., they say my full name.
When you're yelling at someone, you don't just say their first name. You say their entire formal name.
Exactly.
To like address someone in a chastising manner. And I think I felt like that when she said Leland. I'm like, ooh.
Like, okay, Frosty.
Yeah.
So we see in the preview she comes to Hope Valley, so that'll be very interesting. But just for this episode purposes, I was like, wow, it's gonna be interesting to see what they're setting up. Because I have no idea. I mean, we have no idea what's going to happen next, or what's going to be resolved, what the issue really is. Is it a simple issue of just siblings growing apart because of death in the family? Will they find their way back? I don't know. Is there something else? I mean, I don't know.
I have a prediction about that.
Okay, we'll do the predictions.
I'll say predictions.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget.
Yeah, write it down. So as you write it down, we're going to bring up the next thing. So that's basically that story. So we'll see what happens with that. Leland has, I call it the surprise sister. Now I'm going to switch over to Elizabeth and Nathan really quick, because that was a very interesting. She went to see him early in the episode and was just like, okay, what's going on? And he was he was frozen. He was like, let it go. He was frozen. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah. But he was so, he just came across so mean. And I kept just thinking to myself, I know he's hurt. He's a little jealous. But it's kind of like, just be really that mean. But I feel like Marisa, I wrote this down. This was the best line of the whole episode. You want to know why how I ended up in Union City with Lucas? He's all Hal, with a little attitude. He had a little attitude in his voice, like Hal. Mm-hmm. He asked. And she was like, bye. And then she left. I was like, that's right, Elizabeth. She's like, she dropped the mic and said, see you later. And then walked out. And he stood there with his face cracked. I was like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, boom. That's what I'm saying. Like, he hasn't done crap.
You said that. You said that.
Her attention. I'm like, dude, you cannot be mad at Elizabeth for not being assertive enough. That's it. If you want the girl, you go get her.
Okay.
Like, he's been watching aside on the sidelines, watching someone else get her. So, yeah, he needs to be more assertive. I
love that, because you did say that last couple of episodes about how he hasn't stepped to the plate, and so she basically told him, well, step to the plate. I mean, she's showing that she's interested.
Mm-hmm. Do something. Do something. Girls like it when guys chase a little. It doesn't always have to be that way, but yeah, girls like the pursuit.
Mm-hmm. And guys like to chase. We like to chase, so let us chase a little bit. But you have to not do nothing. I mean, you have to do something. So she showed me that memo. She was like, she shut him up.
Yeah, you have to try, dude. Nathan, just give a little effort, please.
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Yeah, so you should have. And then we have Lucas who goes to Gowan. We're still finishing up from that last episode, continuation of that. And he's still stalling, and I like that Lucas is really trying to keep it from going to courts. It's civil. That's a good word. A good word.
Keep it civil. Because right now it's just exactly what Lucas said. It's a disagreement between partners. It's nothing more than that. It's just like, dude, hand over your ledgers so I can see what's wrong.
Mm-hmm. And I love.
And Gowan's making it more complicated.
Yes, but see, Elizabeth gets it out of him later. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that, we're talking, these are two characters who have been on for a long time. Gowan's been on for a long time on the show. So it's kind of nice to see the OGs kind of get together and have scenes. And so it's kind of nice to have her just go, come on, Gowan. Come on, Henry. You have friends here. You actually have done stuff here where now you have friends. Let us help you.
Right. And I think I love how, it was Elizabeth because, we don't have Abigail anymore. And I feel like Abigail is the one that always straightens out Gowan. And since, she's not there anymore, it would resort and default back to Elizabeth, which would make sense.
Yeah.
But I feel Gowan has a softer side for women. And I think it was really good that a woman came up to him, softened him up a bit, be like, just tell me what's wrong. I'm not threatening. It's not a threatening, because if it was another man like Lucas, another alpha male, I think that's where Gowan puts his fists up and he's on the defense all the time. And that's why, he's always blocking people. And I think Elizabeth just coming, knowing that she's not there for any arguments. She comes from a good place. She just wants the answers, and she wasn't threatening at all, or threatening his power and his pride. I think Elizabeth did the best thing to just get finally straight and honest answer out of him.
Mm-hmm. And he admitted it. He messed things up. And I get that you get a little embarrassed, you feel a little ashamed, and you want to handle it yourself. That's what men do. It's completely a man thing to do. I'll fix it myself. I'll do it myself. I don't need any help. Do it myself.
Yeah, he was too proud to ask for help. He's too proud to to clean up his mess from someone else. And I understand that because with the history that he has with that town, this would not be the first time he screws over everybody financially in the town.
And he said that. He said that. People, I think I wrote that. He said they feared me. They've been scared of me. They've done it. He started naming all these things, how the town looked at him. And it's like, it's true. I mean, it's a reminder to all of us longtime viewers, he's done some stuff. And he knows he's not innocent at all. He knows that. But he has done some redeemable things that have helped his image, and like I said, and gain friends.
Yeah, well, friends is a stretch.
I know, but
he gained people who can work with him, on a civil note. But I think that's a very realistic thing. That's like how he feels. He knows he's done wrongs in the past, and he's still making up for it because those wrongs were so big. It's going to not take one season. It's going to take several seasons for people to get over it. I'm still not over it.
Yeah, Marisa clearly is not over it. She's not over
it. But I like how he acknowledged that and told the audience, that this is how he feels, and he's afraid that people aren't gonna, or still see him in a negative light. So I feel just from like a business standpoint and him like running businesses that the town still thrives off of, and that's a big deal. And when he messes up with the town again, he might have to go back to square one again.
And he does at one moment look at his little wood stove or fireplace where he's looking at with the book in hand.
Burn it. Don't burn it. He was thinking about it.
He was. And I thought, will he do it? But will he just say, screw it, and just throw it in the fire and throw in the fire and just like go back to his old ways? But he didn't. Folks, he didn't.
Yeah.
He brought books. He brought him to Lucas at the saloon.
Yeah, Elizabeth made him come to his senses, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved how he handed over slowly but surely, not all of them, but just starting with 3 books and there's 9 more to go.
Yeah, 9 more. Like, oh, dang.
Slowly letting the issues come out.
Yes, I love that. So that was a good one. Again, it's what Hope Valley does. It's the town, people in town coming together for the folks who are fighting and struggling. They come to there for them to show them support, and then great things can come out of the support and the talks. That's what I love about that. Carson goes to Jesse. Carson's the good Samaritan doctor, and because now he's running things while Lee is recuperating. And I love that how he's just like, just take care of yourself. I like the men talk to me like men talk to each other. It's like they wouldn't ever get super mushy. They wouldn't like, oh, come on. It's like he just says, don't burn yourself out. You're doing okay. It's kind of, just don't do anything. He's like, okay. But it's when Lee sees Jesse, that's what made me go, it was such a nice, sweet moment. When he says, you're like a brother to me. That's very cool.
Oh, that's true.
It is. It's very true. Lee took him in. Lee gave him a chance. Gave him a chance. And Jesse has been stepping up. And so we say, you're like a brother to me. I thought it was very sweet. And when Lee said, which I was thinking myself anyway, I sent you to the mountain. Mm-hmm. So it's nobody's fault. I sent you to the mountain to do those surveys and things. And then you went, and I went to find you because I sent you up there.
Yeah. You were there because of me. You were there in the first place. And I liked that because, we only got it from Jesse because it stopped at Jesse. But then when Lee was like, oh yeah, it was for Lee. He took it back even a farther step. You're like, they're not blaming anything, but it's like, he did start it. And I like that because I definitely love the line when he said, you're like a brother to me, because that followed maybe not even 5 minutes after Lee was talking to Rosemary about losing his brother Patrick.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yes.
Yeah, and then when you get Jesse be like, you're also a brother, you're like, oh, brothers aren't just biologically related. It's like, it's who you're with and who you love and who you support every single day. And I just like the juxtaposition of like just the family ideas, and the family ties up Lee's real brother to Lee's brother, working brother,
You just got me to see that. I missed that. You just got me to see that. Now I'm connecting it. Yes. Makes sense. That's why it makes sense. It does. I didn't even catch that. And I catch stuff, but I didn't catch that. You're good. You caught that. I'm like, that's true. Like that. Then we're gonna go to Miss Fiona. So Miss Fiona's back in town. It's good to see her. Because Nathan, who was being called to Elizabeth earlier, was like, I got to go to the train station to get a perp or whatever. I guess his name was Elias O'Rourke. You know his name at first, but he had to go run. He got to go find him, and so he runs into her. Now, I agree. I do see a little chemistry between those two. There's a little chemistry, a little tiny bit. I don't think I want them together, but I do see a little bit. There's a little something I saw there. I don't know what you think about that.
I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about the chemistry. I was thinking about, Fiona, what were you doing in San Francisco?
Well, there's that. Well, she told Clara, well, family, some work. It was very vague.
If you really watch it, and I don't know, this might be my editing eye, that there were still lingering frames at the end after she was talking to, who was it? Was it Claire?
Yeah.
When, I was in San Francisco, just doing X, Y, and Z, but, her face says, it wasn't just that. There were other things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, something's going on because, we'll get to that in a second, but I just want to mention at the same time, Fiona helps this lady. I call her the Shady Lady. That's her name right now, the Shady Lady. Because she always like, well, we're going to get a bite to eat, or there's a sandwich shop right outside, whatever. But she's there when Nathan catches Elias, the perp. The camera, again, editing thing, the camera lingers on her face, like she looks kind of like, I don't know, I'm like, is she related to the guy, the perp? Maybe not. And there was like, is she related to Nathan? Like, what's going on?
Criminal partners.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, right? Kind of. That's the thing. I mean, it's like, the guy was kind of funny. He was in jail. He was like, he was just being sarcastic or whatever. But she's the one who was all kind of like, and I thought she was taking another train somewhere. I guess not, but I guess she's still in the town. And later, again, a weird moment, the Shady Lady. At the saloon, Lucas is pouring her, whatever, it's a drink or something to drink. And she's watching as when Bill comes in to talk to Lucas about Gowan, she's like watching and kind of this look on her face. Like, who is she? I don't know what's going on there.
Right, but also, did you notice that she made a reaction when Bill was like, "Judge, I'm the judge."
Yeah.
When he said his actual position, she's like, "Aw, crap!
Yes.
I gotta keep it subtle now, or else he's gonna throw me in prison." So there's something. She's definitely done something criminal against the law.
Shady Lady.
Shady Lady.
Shady Lady. I was like, I don't know. And then Fiona, we find later, she's hugging, oh my goodness. Florence, thank you. Because this they call her Flo, Florence. I mean, it's Florence. Yeah. And she's crying. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is she crying? And it turns out,
there was that phone call even before that when she answers. Fiona answers
right.
And she's like, yes, I do like my job. So apparently, they threatened her position for maybe doing something illegal.
I'm glad you said that. I've got to put a call from Mr. Nichols, whoever he is. I guess is her boss. She got upset on the phone. That's right. That was a call earlier. Got upset. And so I'm thinking this is San Francisco. There's a connection. There's some connection with all that. Her going to San Francisco, the call from Mr. Nichols, her telling that she's telling that I have to go to Palm Springs next week. I leave in a week. It's a job. And they send me where they send me, and it's like it doesn't sound kosher. None of it's kosher to me. It's like something's wrong. And it's like, hopefully, I guess we'll find out this in the episode. But it was all like, don't get rid of Fiona. I love Fiona. She can't go anywhere. Like, this is not. I don't want her leaving.
And she's leaving so abruptly within a week. It makes me think she's either running or someone threatened her position and they're relocating her for something. But we don't know what it was. Girl, what are you up to?
I know. Something going on. Don't know. And then we'll go back a little bit to the school. And the kids, after the whole wind thing happened, and Opal is scared to go outside. We had a children's story, and the children's story was Opal being scared to go outside.
Yeah.
And Emily not being there. They explained that Emily is staying home after what happened for a couple of days. What were your feelings on that storyline?
Honestly, only okay. Because this just might be my jaded mind coming from Illinois, witnessing a bunch of tornadoes and stuff. I'm like, it's wind.
I kind of
myself, girl. But again, she's only like what, 8, 10. She's little. But I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, it's wind. It wasn't as bad as it was.
Yeah.
And like I'm still accounting for the fact she's a little kid. I understand she was scared. But I did love the moment where Elizabeth is like, yes, it was a scary moment, but you can't let that fear control you in that sense. And I loved how Elizabeth just did it in her most teachery way to help Opal through her fear of going outside. It's wind.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna be controversial too. I was just like, that win was not that bad, folks. Like seriously, it was not that bad for anybody to be that scared. I mean, like Emily had to stay home. Really? I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like, I mean, it wasn't that bad, and I felt that way too. I thought this was a little contrived, but I love because usually When Comes to Heart does really good children's storylines. Like they always have a good lesson. Well, there was a lesson in this one, obviously, like you said, basically. Elizabeth, the best teacher in the world, of course. I always say that every season. I always say that I love the best teacher in the world, and she handled it with great aplomb and everything. But I just thought this was a little contrived to like that. Opal's super scared to go outside. Like, well, okay, I mean, like I can see if a wind kicked up again and she got a little scared and brought her back to that day. But it was like it was nice outside.
Right, and I just kept thinking, I'm like, girl, it's wind. The most damage that they had was like their hair got verklempt and maybe windshield burns, but it was wind.
It was wind. It was wind.
Sorry, get over yourself. But she's 8. I don't mean to sound terrible, but
Same here.
It's wind. I've
been
at a younger age than she was, and I'm turned out just fine.
Yeah, I'm like, that was the only thing that was kind of like, okay. But I mean, A.G. Cooper does a great job playing Opal, of course. And again, the lessons that Elizabeth did was that it was kind of this funny thing of like, I'm going to show you, let's hold hands, let's go outside. It's okay, face life. You can't just sit, you can't be scared. That's always beautiful.
Takeaway from it is just like get over your fear or like conquer your fears.
Yeah, definitely. And our last couple of bits of storylines, they weren't huge, but they're just, well, they're big, but not big, huge storylines. But Lucas actually takes chapters from Elizabeth's book without her permission and send them to his mother. And so I want to ask your opinion because I see both sides of it, that, that he wanted to do something nice for her. And he knows she wants to be a writer. And but at the same time, I'm a writer. So I'm like, you need before you touch my stuff, you need to, because she was like, I wasn't ready. These chapters weren't ready. I understand as a creative, I understand that part. So what were your initial feelings when you heard that he had done that?
I understand. I immediately thought it came from a good place because we know her rejection in the past, where like how she dealt with it. Like it's okay, she got rejected once, but if she's gonna practice what she preaches, like just get up and do it again. You can't let your fears control you. She's afraid of being rejected again. But like, what did you just teach Opal? Face your fears. And but I loved how direct that Lucas and Elizabeth are with each other, because Elizabeth was like, you were out of line. That was not your place to do that. Again, she was very professional and courteous about it. But also Lucas came up to her later in that day like, you're right, I should not have done that. Because I feel like if this storyline happened with Nathan would have brooded for like 2 weeks and then apologized. Lucas doesn't waste any time and like came back 2 hours later to apologize. And I like that because it just shows that both of them can communicate with each other, even when like they may be upset. But Lucas also has the wherewithal to be like, yeah, that wasn't, the best on my situation, but I did it for you to help you. And I like just how they can be direct with each other and still not have like ill will feelings towards each other at the end of the day. Because say I did that to you, you would not be happy with me. But I think our relationship is mature enough to talk through our issues like grown adults and not brood for 2 weeks like Nathan does.
He's a big baby, big man baby.
He is.
He is. Big man baby.
He's not perfect either, but it shows Nathan has a vulnerability side to him as well.
One thing is we're seeing that they're two different men. That's the whole thing. And they each have two different relationships with Elizabeth. And I agree with you. The whole Lucas and Elizabeth, they've always been upfront with each other. Elizabeth just tells like it is to him all the time. He's like, okay. He's like, I got it. And he doesn't like run away. And so that's why I'm Team Lucas. I'm sorry, folks. I'm Team Lucas. Right now I am. I'm giving Nathan a chance. I want him to, I want to see what he can do. But it's lopsided right now. It's kind of like we haven't seen him do much, And we'll talk about in a second what he did at the end of the episode. But just like that, up to this point, Lucas has done more. And I just see the chemistry. And I see it beyond his saloon ways. I see it beyond that. There's something there that's very truthful between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cute. It's also cute.
Yeah. Lucas and Elizabeth seem very genuine with each other. And every time you see Elizabeth with Nathan, they're both dancing on eggshells with each other. And that's just like not a good place to be. And I understand that, not to jump ahead, that like Nathan was finally like making strides in the quote unquote relationship with Elizabeth. But like I feel like Nathan's working more just to get Elizabeth's approval. He's working. It seems harder for Nathan.
Well, I'll tell you something. So, because that's where leads right into this. I'm gonna go back, and because I wrote this down, I want to mention this. When Bill and Nathan had a talk, I thought it was so funny because Nathan says something about and other people got hurt. And he's like, "What's going on?" And I love what he says about Elizabeth being up there, and she didn't have protection, blah blah. And he was like, "I was going between you two, but." So what's the problem? And he's like, well, she went out after a student, to make sure. He goes, that sounds like her. And then when he said, she's a lot stronger than you think. I like that. He was like, he supports, he knows Elizabeth. They've been together through a lot. And it's like, he says she's tougher than you think. That's what he said. She's tougher than you think. She's been through a lot. That's what he said. I wrote that down. That's what he said. He said, I'm sorry. She's tougher than she looks. She has been through a lot. That's what he said. And I was like,
yeah, absolutely. And I loved how Bill did that, because if you think about it, Elizabeth is that kind of person who will just kind of go out without really thinking. I mean, just go back to season 1 when she went over Rosalind, or when she went to go search for Rosalind in the cave.
Yes.
And then season 2 when she went to go search for Rick in the cage, in storms, no less. And then when she went to go in season 3 to go search for Jack, who fell in the river during floods, no less. I mean, like, it's a recurring thing with Elizabeth that she will go out and rescue whatever without really thinking of her personal safety. She thinks about others' well-being rather before her own. And that's just what Elizabeth is. But you got to give credit a little bit to Nathan that he doesn't know that about Elizabeth. We as audience have seen that side of Elizabeth. He has not. And I like how it took Bill, because Bill has witnessed that personality of Elizabeth. And I like how Bill was the one to tell Nathan, like, that's just who she is. Like it or not, that's what she's going to do.
Right. But the part that I didn't like, I have a mini rant. A mini rant, not a big one, it's a mini one.
All right.
Because this was a writing choice. It's what they chose to do this. Why do you got a man coming to your house late at night to talk to you? I didn't like that part. I didn't like that he came over late at night. It felt like very impulsive. Like you had to tell her that he wanted to apologize and that you matter to me. And also, it was a cute moment, kind of, but it bugged me just at that time period that he couldn't wait till the next day, couldn't wait till the morning. Like it had to be late. It was late because Jack was asleep, and it was late at night. It kind of bugged me a little bit.
Okay.
It's just a little mini rant, just my little thing.
I can see that, but again, we don't know what time of the year.
It was dark, girl. It was dark.
It could be winter now. I'm only giving. Dark at 5 p.m. Jack's taking his nighttime nap. I don't know. I'm not. But also, I think it was good, no matter what time. That it's kind of like better late than never.
Yeah.
That Nathan had to get it off his chest, no matter what time that was. The fact that like he had to end the day resolving that issue with Elizabeth, albeit whatever time it is.
Yeah.
I think it
I'm
was
sure the
good that
fans will tell me if they agree with me or not. I'm sure they're going to tell me. But I just
don't care what time of day he did it, just the fact that he did it at all.
That's good. No, that part is good. I agree with that. They got some kind of resolution that he does care. But if I said I care, you matter to me. And her face was like, oh, okay. And there was some chemistry there. There's some chemistry there. But I've been seeing the whole online with like, just because he's another Mountie, he's not Jack, of course. He's another Mountie, and should she go that? I mean, there's been a lot. I mean, this triangle has brought up so much, which we knew this would happen. So much kind of controversy, so much conversation. That it's gonna be very interesting to see how they continue this.
Right, and we've seen Jack do it in the past. Go up to Elizabeth's place late at night to apologize.
For some reason, that didn't bother me. This one bothered me a little bit.
It's not the first time a man shows up late to her house.
Well, I'm sure the fans are going to talk. I'm sure they're going to comment on what I said, and that's why comment, please. I want to know what you guys think.
It was probably anywhere from 5 to 7.
It was 10 o'clock at night. I don't know.
Already late.
Well, is it funny? But all seriousness, isn't it funny how when you watch a show, depending on who you are and how you feel, how it affects you, how certain scenes affect you. Like I said, there's certain characters you still don't forgive them, and I'm like, I forgive them, they're fine. So it's kind of funny how the show does that. It's just funny how the show, does that.
Our feelings towards certain characters.
Yeah, love that. We just say, it is what it is.
You saying that because you like Lucas more.
I do like Lucas more a little bit, but I am open to Nathan. I mean, there is chemistry there. I do see it. I just think I'm team. I'm sorry. I'm team Lucas right now. Please convince me otherwise when it calls to heart. And I'll switch over if you give me something good to look at. I will work it out. But right now I am team Lucas. But that was our episode. And as we were saying, it's a good transitional episode because now it sets up for the season finale. Like already, I'm like, I guess it's that time of the year. I mean, it's always right before my birthday's like in 3 weeks. So of course, it's like right before my birthday, it always ends. So I was like,
my birthday's in like 3 months.
Yeah, it's gonna do it. Mine's coming up during quarantine. I'm gonna be at home Zooming with people, I guess, while I celebrate my birthday.
I have a big birthday this year.
Oh, that's what you do. Oh my goodness, that's right. Oh,
I'm getting old.
Oh, hopefully the world will have at least can do something by then. Hopefully we can do that.
This is like the only birthday I'm kind of looking forward to, but not.
Yeah.
But I digress. It's so not
right.
about.
I know about that, but anyway, so I was just saying that. Anyway, I just know for me, it's just that I forget. It always ends right before it's time for my birthday every year. I know that's why I remember it. Kind of go okay, and then Christmas starts up again. So they show previews, and someone gets shot.
Someone gets shot. Okay, first of all, that's violent for any Hallmark show.
Yes.
We hear the gunshot, but this isn't the first time we've heard a gunshot. We've seen a lot of gunfights, quote unquote.
Yes, true.
So I wonder if we'll hear it and then see the results afterwards, the aftermath. Because this is Hallmark, they're not going to show it, obviously.
That's true. Right.
And also, I don't think it's going to be the kind of someone shot as we thought. Who
do you think it's going to be? You always predict. I mean, do you have any predictions on that? Do you think who it's going to be? Because it has to be somebody big, right, for it to be a season ending.
Right. I mean, they said someone got shot. Right. If it was a big character, they'd be Lee got shot. This person got shot. I think they'd be more specific with the name. Okay. But it'd either be the weird dude in jail or the shady lady. Oh. And I'd be okay if it was either. Because something happened with those two. We don't know how they're related, how they're connected. If they get off in the same train, but we don't know anything. And it's going to be those two are going to be involved in some shape and form. Because why introduce two new criminals? Or I don't want to say the shady lady's a criminal, but she's shady, so she's definitely a criminal.
Yeah, she's doing something shady.
We got to resolve this issue. First, we got to find out who the heck she is.
Yeah, who is
Second of all, get her out of the show. So if they shoot her, then there you go. So I think that's what's going to happen with the gunshot.
Yes. Now, okay, so there's that.
I have other predictions.
Well, also, okay, so also the sister comes to town, so. Interesting. So what are some of your predictions, girl? We talked about episode. What was
about Susanna. I think Susanna's gonna come. She's obviously harboring resentment of something. I think it's gonna be more like she's mad that Lee wasn't there to support the family. Like, you abandoned me when our parents died and I had no one to talk to, yada, yada, yada. I had to take care of our ailing father. I don't know how he died, the father, but I think she could probably be like, I had to take care of dad and you weren't there, where you, all of this, I had to give up my life. I can just already write this in my head. And I think she just might be harboring some resentment that you got to leave and I didn't.
Okay. I believe that. So, I agree with you on that.
So I think they kind of have to just work out those issues. And then also on the flip side with Lee and Jesse, I think maybe at the end of the season or maybe the beginning of next season, because Jesse's doing so good with running the mill, that I think maybe Lee will help offer Jesse a partnership of something, make him even more accountable for that business, and that'll help with raises of Jesse in his position. It'd be nice if Lee brought Jesse up to an even higher position at that company.
I agree. I was gonna say that's, yeah, I agree with that. All that you just said, I agree with, actually. I'm like, that's probably, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Jesse can run that. Obviously, he's proven it. He can run that business without Lee. He's doing a great job at it. So I think Lee, as a promotion or as a thank you, give him a partnership kind of deal.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be nice. It'd just be nice to see Jesse grow even more.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I agree with that. Any predictions on Gowan? Because that's the one thing I was kind of like, well, I mean, the books have been given to him. I guess we're gonna basically, I guess Lucas is gonna go through them all. I mean,
I think Lucas is gonna help Gowan with this financial issue. They're gonna work out the differences because Gowan's finally starting to open up and give the problems and let that air out. I think Lucas is gonna help him, and then once that happens, maybe Lucas will pull out of the partnership.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Gowan has to figure out something out on his own, or what happened with Gowan's health? If he still keels over, we don't know.
Keels over. I know, it's like, I keep thinking, my prediction is something has to happen with that in the episode next week. I think it does. They wouldn't mention that and just drop it, unless that's a storyline for next season possibly. But I just feel like they mentioned it several times during that episode. Kind of talked about it. So it's kind of like, well, what does that mean exactly? It has to play a part in somewhere. And again, it's a season finale, so I'm thinking possibly something going on there. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm kind of, this is my prediction. So I'm going to stick by my prediction. So I'm just going to, health-wise, have a Gowan in the season finale. I got to stick by my prediction. I'm going to stick by it. Fiona, what do you think is going to happen? I don't think she's leaving. I don't think she's leaving
because right now it seems like she's running because someone threatened her position. Because she says she's being relocated, but we don't know who's actually relocating her. Right. So I think she's running. And I think the town's going to rally. They're going to figure out what's going on with Fiona. I mean, because she's the one that's on the phone the most. So just use the technology that they have, trace all the phone calls, figure out the issue. And I think her storyline might intertwine with the two shady people. Because it's no coincidence that they're all going at the same time, that they were all on the train together. Really. I'm like, well, what are the chances of that, honestly?
And she went up and talked to her. I mean, they were standing next to each other, but she was like, she said this but she didn't get a sandwich, folks. You notice that? Shady lady went over and asked for something. She walked off. But came back with no sandwich.
Yeah. I don't know. Or it could really just be a coincidence they were on the same train together. But it'd be nice to figure out what Fiona was really up to in San Francisco. Because I feel like her past is catching up with her, too. Lots of questions for the finale.
There is lots of questions. And do we know we have a season 8 yet? We don't think we even know, do we?
Yeah.
So, but I have a very big surprise right now that just happened as we're recording this show. And Marissa's going to find this out for the first time as I'm saying it. Our guest next week will be Brian Bird.
Yes.
And he says to me, you know, I'm coming on the show and I'd love to talk to you, Marisa. And you're going to have to watch and see what happens. So next Monday, Marisa and I are going to record with him and put it out Monday night. So I just got that just now. I mean, the timing is probably, I got this text. I'm like, Brian Bird?
Oh, Brian, because we didn't get to talk to him last season.
We didn't. So we're going to. Right. So we got like lots to catch up on, but very excited. So Brian Bird will be on our show next week. So we'll be happy to talk to him. He'll be in here with us.
That's
just
awesome.
happened. I was going to talk to her about it after the show and tell her I was talking to him, but he actually came through just now as we're recording this episode and was like, yes, I'll do it. So Brian Bird will be our guest next week, and I'm very excited for that. So well, I love the Hardys. The Hardys are the best. The whole Hardy world is the best. The best. And that's our show, folks. That's our show. And Marisa, someone can find you on social media.
Everyone can find me at Serafini TV.
That's right. And you can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. The show When Calls to Heart is now on my company channel, JLJ Media on YouTube. Thank you so much for all the views and the comments. Thanks for all the new subscribers. So make sure you subscribe and and to the channel, because I actually have all of our episodes from all the past seasons of our show, plus the episodes we did with the books, are on that channel. So you have hours of Hardy goodness on my channel, JLJ Media on YouTube. You can watch, and they're all very neat in playlists. You know, I'm an organizer. They're all in playlists. Just look at When Calls to Heart playlist. You know, when the book circle stuff, just look on it. You can see all of our previous episodes. And also, you guys watch old episodes sometimes. And so watch our after show afterwards, see what we think about it. Shout out to Maria Provenzano, who we love, who started this journey with us years ago. She's on some of the early episodes, of course. You can see her on that too. But subscribe to my page. And then the audio version is on my JLJ Media also, which is everywhere. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Spreaker, everything. It's all over the place. Subscribe, comment, rate. Tell us what you think. I'll read some comments maybe next week. But you guys have been really great, just welcoming me and Marisa back into the fold. And we love you guys very much. All you Hardys, we love you. And we'll see you next week for the finale.
Bye, Hardys.